Welcome to Results Will Vary, a good, bad, and ugly advice show. My name is Russell Bates, and this is a show for all your various problems to give you all your various solutions. Today with me are my co-advisors. We have Manu Padma, and we have Frank Floski. Frank, how?
Floski. It's close.
Floski. Frank Floski. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This is the first one I'm recording, so this may not be the first one that comes out, but definitely the first one I'm recording with people, and it means a lot. So, would you guys say you're empathetic people? Would people come to you?
I mean, yeah, I would say I have a very unique form of empathy. That makes sense. People wouldn't really see it, but I definitely have it. I just don't like show the the traditional form of empathy.
Traditional, like, pat on the back.
Like I don't get viscerally emotional like mirroring the other person, when it comes to like showing empathy, but I still got it.
Manu, how about you? Do people come to you for a lot of advice?
They do, but it's also like friends that I've known for a long time. I've noticed that many people will remark on my ability to listen and like kind of poke and prod at the conversation. I tend to be a problem solver though, which is something that my friends understand. So they know that I'm an empathetic
Okay.
here, but they also know that sometimes I'm not necessarily sitting there for the full emotion of it, more than I'm like, how do we resolve it? You
You want
know?
to get to a solution.
Well, then it is good that you both are here because we're here to give our listeners in quotes, all the diverse solutions they need. So how the show will work is that we have a question here. We will have one advisor give good advice, get good, genuine, sincere advice. The second advisor will give bad advice. But the third person is going to give their ugly advice, something that you didn't even think of. So this first question will have Manu give the good advice, I will be given the bad advice, and Frank will be given the ugly advice. Just make sure we get all your range. Dear Results Will Vary. My New Year's resolution is to get healthy. What's some advice to help me get fit? Any exercise or diet recommendations? From a totally real person in Iowa. So Manu, what's some things we can do for this New Year's resolution?
Health will be a lifelong journey. I understand that, like, with the come of a new year, especially if you are the type to set yearly resolutions, finding a solution at the end of the year or resolving whatever you set out to resolve at the beginning of the year feels like it needs to be wrapped up in that year only. But because health is a lifelong journey, what you need to start aiming for is sustainability in lifestyle. If you are starting as a person that is radically sedentary, going to even like working out a couple times a week will actually be a huge stretch for you. You're not
Okay.
to allocating your time that way. In order to fit exercising into your routine, you're gonna have to start small. You're gonna have to start by making changes that are already like easy enough for you in your life. And that's gonna be as simple as like if you're taking the elevator, start considering taking the stairs,
Ooh,
you know?
okay.
Or it's like if you're eating fries for a majority of your sides, start swapping at least a couple of them out with salads. The more stairs you incorporate, the easier it'll get. The more swapping you do, the easier that'll get too. So fundamentally, by the end of the year, you're going to look at a healthier lifestyle than what you started off with. But it's not going to be like you're going to be marathon ready by the end of the year, unless that's where your body takes you.
I'm down to get very anti-elevator here. I'm down to think that that's like, what is that? I'm not
And
supposed to
they're
be going up
scary.
and down.
They can like drop.
Do you have any like go-to snacks?
Ooh, I love a good chip and hummus. I think making those like protein heavy swaps is also super important. It keeps you full longer. The weirdest thing that I've incorporated into my daily life is this concept of like a dirty soda, which got
Dirty soda.
popularized. Well, okay, so it got popularized by a TV show called, I think, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And
I
it
love that show.
Okay.
it blew up on TikTok because like they're supposed to be not caffeinated, not alcoholic, like lifestyles. So one of my food bloggers on Instagram introduced me to this concept where you take a Diet Coke and a protein shake and you make kind of like a cocktail out of the two. And it is delicious. It is like a
Okay.
cream soda or like a root beer float type
I
thing.
just put a little bit of protein powder in my coffee this morning, Manu. So,
Yeah, you're
What?
already
yeah.
on it, Frank.
What?
Mhm. Yeah, because I
uh,
pulled through and I put like a little bit of like because I had this chocolate like organic protein powder. I'm like, let's just put it in my coffee because I
I'm
need to
sorry,
get
that
like
sounds
more
so
protein
scuffed to
in my
me.
life.
All right. So thank you for that advice, Manu. But I'm here to give you some real advice, though. Do you know the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away"?
I do, but how are you going to use it?
I don't know if it was Apple.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So what I would say to you, totally real person, is really invest in that. Only eat apples for the next year. You're gonna have so much vitamins. You're gonna thin down quickly.
Do you
Okay?
think there's enough vitamins in this apple?
Yeah,
Only
yeah, totally.
apples, but only
Yes,
apples.
totally.
I don't hate this because it is a jaw workout. You know what I
It
mean? It's like
is. You're
they're
gonna
looking
get.
to build like that incremental thing I was talking about. Feels like an easy way to get that in there.
Mm-hmm,
Kind of
for
like
sure.
build that routine too. Also, you just know what you're gonna eat. You don't have to choose and think about what you need to buy. It's just there for you.
You can poke bears. If
Oh,
you poke
Like
a bear,
like metaphorically, of course.
I'm worried it's
oh,
literal.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Some of you may listeners, this totally real person in Iowa. Iowa may not have very much bears, but I'm assuming you have a zoo in a few hundred miles if you live in Iowa. So what I would do is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can get your ticket, go to the polar bear, go to the polar bear exhibit, and while the guards aren't looking or the zookeepers aren't looking, get your warm up in, jump in, sock that sucker right in the nose,
I mean, gets your
and
adrenaline up, I would feel. Gets
gets
you
your
like
adrenaline.
fight or flight.
It's very much a sprint workout.
I'm worried that with the strength that it might take to conquer a bear, the apple thing may not be cutting it anymore.
Oh, it will. It
You think?
will. Yeah, it will.
An apple has all that protein, right?
Yes.
I guess
Apples
if you
are,
eat the seeds, maybe? I don't know.
The core, eat
well,
those
if you eat the seeds, be careful because you may sprout an apple
gummy
tree
apple
in your
seed.
diaphragm. So,
Uh-oh. And that's going to lead to putting on weight if you're growing an apple tree in your diaphragm.
yeah, yeah.
Throw the apples at the like in the
You can,
distance, and then that will like
but also,
you run away
just
from the bear.
grappling with the polar bear, you're gonna learn to love this guy. People won't be mad at you for jumping into the polar bear exhibit 3 days a week. You're gonna get very fit very fast. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would say get going on your polar bear expedition. So, but Frank, what's some ugly advice we can give this person?
Ugly advice. I would say what is really popular these days is like, we all know Ozempic, like
Okay,
Majorna, those medications we inject. And there's a lot of like people getting like gastric sleeves. I had
gastric
a
sleeves.
friend
Okay.
of a friend who got a gastric sleeve, worked
So would
out
you say
for
that
him.
just could you could you, are you able to like die if you have too much Ozempic?
I don't
I,
think so. It seems like a miracle drug right now. So honestly, this
yeah.
advice is looking pretty good so
I mean,
far.
it's FDA approved, so I mean,
So just yeah, just have
trust the
Ozempic all the
government.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trusting the government is always good, great advice.
Going back to like the pure medical, as
Yeah.
opposed to like this homeopathic, all natural, physical working out.
Yeah,
It's
let's
like
talk about some
science.
quick solutions.
Yeah, science has improved so much. Let's just let them go for it. Just, passive way of working out, of getting fit.
Oh, I like this government thing. Like maybe we run as the first candidate to legalize liposuctions like weekly or something like that.
Or
Okay.
like, yeah, health insurance covers it.
Yeah. Let's start
About
lobbying for
100%.
that. Let's get it scraped off.
If you don't have the health insurance, just do your own liposuction.
Yeah. Staple your own stomach, whatever.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
so how you would do the liposuction is you would insert the tube into your belly button because that's how you get into the intestines.
Of course.
Or and so you just kind of like
gotta numb it
up
a bit though.
up well, just slap on your belly a few times and then it'll be numb enough. Then, like the pool noodles you would put under your legs and you would blow out into it. What
Yep.
you
Mhm.
do there is you just get all your fat out.
I love
And
it.
And spit it out. Because you don't want to
yeah,
eat it because then you'll just,
no, then you'll
it's
get
like,
fat again.
yeah.
I love this surgery rhetoric. Replace all your muscles with gorilla muscles.
Hmm.
Right. So what does that mean? Implants?
Yes, get implants.
So you have to get Grizilla muscles. Grizilla. Yeah,
Gorilla
you
muscles.
have to get them from gorillas, right?
We're
Grizilla
already at the
is
zoo.
Grizilla is my favorite jungle home app, jungle renting app.
Grizilla. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Griselda was a great movie. It was a great like show on Netflix if you want to watch it. But yeah, we need to get the muscles from the gorillas, which Manu said reminded me that yes, we have the zoo we can go to.
We're already aware of the zoo. Another thing too is that if it's like a self-image thing, just like anyone that is physically active in your life that is making you feel bad about yourself, or they eat very good and all that, just start sabotaging them. They
Okay.
have it so
So
good. Why change you for other
addition by
people?
subtraction. Addition
It's
by
the
subtraction.
balance.
I would also say wear like a Chris Hemsworth skin suit. Just like
But it be like Mrs. Doubtfire, like more like very
Chris
technical,
Hemsworth,
very
Mrs. Doubtfire.
theater. I mean, yes, that could be a thing, but very technical, very much like we need like a professional to come in, so nobody will know that I'm not Chris Hemsworth.
I like that.
Yeah,
Just
for
assume an
sure.
entirely different identity and commit to it that hard.
I think this is all great dumb advice. We hope we helped Totally Real Person Iowa with all these, give you a whole bunch of diverse options. This next question, Frank will be giving the good advice, Manu will be giving some bad advice, and I will be giving you that really outside of the box ugly advice. All right? Next question. Dear, results will vary. I'm looking to quit my job, but I don't want to ruffle any feathers. What's the best way to make an exit?
Hmm. I mean, I'm curious. Did he say he has a job or is he looking for a job?
He
Okay.
has another job lined up.
Hmm.
He still likes the people. He's just moving on.
Well, first of
Uh,
all, that's smart of him. I mean, if he has a good relationship, if he wants to, well, he already got a job, but if he wants to still use his, boss or coworkers as reference points or keep them,
yeah, he
in
wants a
his
good reference
network.
points and the like.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing, knows about, sending the 2 weeks, notice, giving them a little bit of, no, not even a little bit, being pretty much transparent, maybe. I mean, if some of the reasons you're quitting are you don't agree with some of the structures, some of your boss or whatever, I feel like that would be appropriate, to
Hmm.
kind of, let them know that in your exit interview. If you feel like you'll get like very heated or angry, if you feel like, you do have that tension,
Okay.
or animosity with them. So that's why you don't want to, ruffle feathers because you feel like that could be an outcome, then yeah, maybe writing a letter.
Giving heads up, giving like
Yeah, just
transparency of
very
like, hey,
minimal
I
when it
do
comes
want.
to, the details. Yeah, I don't feel like it's, that bad to have a little bit of a white lie in there.
Okay. I quit Casamiya, a restaurant that kind of changed my life. To move to Chicago, that was a thing I did. What I did was I wrote a letter to everybody. Don't get me wrong, that's the extra step. But
The
I wrote a
same
little.
letter.
No, no, I didn't copy and paste. I did like
Oh,
handwritten letters to everybody because I genuinely like they're
Above and
thicker than
beyond.
water. Yeah, yeah. It was way too much work because there was like 20 people I had to write letters to. But
And I just want to correct something. I know I said the rule of thumb is to be transparent. But then before that, I said it's okay to have a little
Yeah,
bit of a white lie.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
I just want to clarify that two of those truths can live together mutually.
Yeah.
So
ooh,
that
bars,
does make sense if you
bars.
think about it hard enough. You don't want to be fully transparent at risk of harming them or kind
You
of
want your truth
severing
to be the
a bridge.
person it is that you genuinely like the person, but the white lie is
The
because you
truth you want to see
genuinely
in the
like the
world.
person.
I was really inspired by Frank exploring like multiple relationships that you might have with your boss. Like maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. When I think of an exit that I really respect out of a relationship that was not the greatest, but I do think that this will work even if your relationship with your boss is excellent. I think of the movie Gone Girl. I think of her faking her death. I think of her getting away with it. I
Ooh.
think of her also receiving the attention from her score, like from her lover who was cheating on her. So that way you do actually keep the door with your employer open because if they truly did value you as much as you valued yourself in that old position, then they'll find a way to show it and come back to you. So I do think that in the situation, faking your death in order to make an
Okay.
exit is the
Yeah.
best possible way to do this.
What's the most compassionate way to fake your death?
Oh, you have to imply there was
I
a
would
reason
say
for laughing.
I would say immediately open coffin.
It'd be an
Just
open coffin.
you don't
Wait,
have
you're in the
to.
coffin like acting?
It sounds
Yeah,
like it.
that's how I mean you just
Or you take a
so
picture of yourself in a coffin and you send that picture as like a, hey, update, I died.
I like
I,
that because when you send your boss a picture of a car that's busted up, that's not even your car. You're like, oh, car trouble on my way to work. It's like that equivalent. So you're already
Mhm.
probably lying like that to your boss anyway. So
Yeah.
so yeah, but I would say you don't have to do anything grisly. Just have a coffin like when people are about to shuffle into
Like put some white
into work for
makeup.
the first day. Yeah, put some white makeup on. They don't know how they don't need to know how you died. They're just up out the front door. There's a coffin there.
Please respect my privacy at this time. I don't want any questions or anything.
I am now
Yeah.
dead. Thank you for
I
asking.
I am now
Please send
dead.
casseroles accordingly.
Now thing is you'll have to be that way until they leave the next morning.
Ooh, unless it's a Shiva, then you're in there for a bit. Unless it's a Shiva.
You're right. If your boss is Jewish and you're planning this open casket type scheme, it's over for you.
It's over. That's gonna be
Know your people. How can you fake your death by also getting cremated?
You're gonna have to send a bag of brownie batter and claim it's your ashes.
I mean, yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I might have accidentally given the ugly advice, but to me it was just bad.
So ugly
What's uglier
advice.
than death?
I would say don't actually do this, but go to prison,
Oh,
but in a good way. Start plotting fake murders of like little dummies and stuff. You're going to be
Like
planting
stupid people?
seeds here. You're not actually going to kill anybody here. You're going to have like a whole bunch of human like victims that are more just like mannequins, okay? And you're going to be giving slight hints that you are this mannequin killer. You
okay.
are after these murders have been going on for like 2 years and stuff. This is when you pop the question, saying like, not pop the question.
You want to marry me?
That's another good ugly
Say that to your,
advice.
yes, ask your
I'll get on
boss.
to that in a second, but you're gonna go into your boss is like, I gotta go. The jig is up. I've got to get out of
And
here,
you flee to
and
Mexico.
they'll see on the news all of these like dead mannequin bodies with covered with
Ketchup,
yeah ketchup.
tomato juice.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, was was Daryl was Daryl the killer? Was Daryl that serial killer all along? That
I like
makes
the
sense
idea
now.
that you went to murder. I was thinking we were embezzling money from the corporation.
Yeah, we can embezzle money into the corporation and then we can invest back into the
Yes.
corporation.
Be like, I need to escape to Mexico. Hold him up, maybe even at gunpoint to get money,
Yeah.
drain it from the company, and then
Of
You
course,
you
of
don't need
course.
to flee to Mexico, but you have that option.
Some ugly advice. Get weak in the knees and drop. Get buy a ring, okay?
Yep, because you said pop the question. I was like, we need to threaten to marry your boss.
Yes.
Yes, and specifically threaten to marry you.
Threaten.
That's
You
how.
have
That's
no
how you.
choice whether you like it or not.
I will get engaged to you whether you like it or
The
not
last
if you
thing
don't let
I
me
do
go.
at
I'm
this
tackling him to the
company.
ground and I'm putting it on his ring finger
We are partners.
for life.
Yes, I do. If they're already married, it's like polygamy.
Oh.
If you're already married, then it's like role play. How you exit that is that, well, there's long distance relationships. You can just kind of know their.
And then you get to write another letter like 6 months later. You kind of, keep this relationship going, but you kind of, become a little bit distant from your boss. And then you
Oh, oh, it
abscond,
happens all the time.
and then you write a letter saying, I found somebody else, I'm leaving. And
How
then
maniacal would that be? You get them to fall. Actually, you're a perfect
the
partner.
long game.
You
Yes,
are.
long game.
And
You
then you
are.
just break
And
their heart.
Yes. Emotional
you're
manipulation.
gonna get half of the company anyway in the divorce.
Mm,
Actually, this is you called it the ugly advice. This is actually the most beautiful piece of advice we could offer this person.
yeah. But you have to go back and get plastic surgery because you can't have your boss know that,
Yes, you
you
have to
really
be
are
looking
who
like a
you are.
gorilla
So
already.
back to the original question about surgery, that's where it comes back. That
Yeah,
surgery is the answer for most of these things.
The person got a 2-for-1 answer here. Good for them.
good. Yes. So I really hope that uh helps authentic human from Michigan. You are a real person and not just something that I
Good
wrote
luck with your
15
job.
minutes ago. Yes, good luck with your job. I hope you all the best. I wish you best of luck on your new marriage and your new prison sentence and your new afterlife. All right, guys, let's get on to the next question. For this next one, I will be giving the good advice, Frank will be given the bad advice, and Manu will be given the ugly advice. Dear results will vary. I have a noisy upstairs neighbor. What should I do to stop the noisemaker? All right. Would you guys say file a complaint first or talk to the person first?
I'm not one for snitching. I would say I would,
Snitches get stitches?
I mean,
Okay.
you
yeah,
always want to be on your neighbor's good side in case. I mean, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so just go upstairs. It depends on if you're having to wake up early and those people are up banging at night. You really need to like give your case. Like if you're a nurse or something,
Yeah, be curious of what are they doing up there. Just
be empathetic. They may be a jazzercise instructor from home. So also look in your lease agreement. Just generally, look in your lease agreement for everything. There's some gems there.
a lot of people don't look at those.
you can put holes in your wall. Or maybe you can't. That's really good information to know.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't look at my lease agreement before I started nailing stuff in.
I mean, if
Nails are fine,
nails,
right?
it's fine. And if you have like some paint or something, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, drilling is where it gets concerning.
I'm sorry. I could never have the gumption to drill into my apartment wall.
I hung a
Especially
whole
like,
like cat tree like that hangs on the that like connects to the wall, and I hung my TV. So I've been doing a lot of
Mounting.
drilling.
Yeah.
has anybody had noise complaints from neighbors? Or have
Hmm.
you had any, like, not incidents, but
I mean, yeah, I've had some times where it's not mainly been me. I feel like it's kind of been my roommate at times. But the times I have been loud, which that's why I feel like you should, ask your neighbor with curiosity what they're doing. Like, I didn't even know I was being loud. I was just very in it, like, in the music, in the zone, just feeling myself.
did you
So,
happen to be on Marriage You Wanna at these times?
No, if I was on marijuana, I would be very silent. You would not hear me.
Okay.
Not know that I was in that apartment. But no, actually, no, that if there was something very funny, I would like maybe just have a huge laugh, but I had no idea I was, being that loud. So, yeah, I feel like most of the time the people are not being intentional.
hmm Manu, what about you? Have you ever had noise complaints or?
I have definitely had complaints against me as a neighbor, and I've definitely leveraged complaints against other people as pretending to be their neighbor, unfortunately. I
What?
I have
What?
a little bit of a pranking streak. The first one was sophomore year of college. Uh, it's that damn roommate of mine. We tended to rile each other up, and he's still my best friend. He lives a couple blocks away from me now. We would just egg the neighbors across the way, and we would do it at the dead of
What?
night. So like we were
What?
thinking we were getting away with it, and it was like only on their balcony. We would only try to aim for their window, so they should have been able to watch everything.
Okay.
Okay, so you were considerate a bit.
But these are like Indian, like international students, so they un thought the worst. This was also 2016, so they're like, "Oh my God, like this is just racist. We're being hate crimed." Me and my roommate, we were just being little shits. So they come over to our place at like after one of the incidents where we threw an egg, and they're like, "We know it's you guys based off of the angle that the eggs are hitting us." And like
What are these people freaking
What's the
forensic
angle? I'm
scientists?
curious. Is it more obtuse or acute?
I would assume from their perspective, these were coming in acute.
It's like you were closer to the building as opposed to you were farther away.
Well, we were just a
Yeah.
few. So like there was like a grassy area between the two buildings.
Uh,
And they were closer to the parking lot and we were further from the parking lot.
okay.
So we were throwing eggs at like this kind of an angle.
Okay.
Okay.
Any of this movement is translate.
Like straight across. Like,
That's great for an audio medium.
oh,
I'm assuming they put it together because they were here for some sort of STEM-based background. I can say that kind of stuff because I'm Indian and I understand. The other one was actually most recent, where I went to a friend of a friend's place to film a podcast, funny enough. And so I noticed that you know him, Frank. He's David in our Improv 5 class.
ooh, okay.
I noticed that he lived in that area. And I also know that he wears two pairs of glasses. So I wrote a
What?
letter.
Distinction.
Yeah, it's like a random thing. He just has two pairs of glasses, and I've noticed that. So I wrote
Like
this
he
letter.
alternates. That's what I do.
Yeah, he does
Gotcha.
alternate. I never noticed you did. So noticing all these things and just being in the area generally, I write a letter being like, I have noticed that there are two men living in your garden unit, and I can tell because one of you wears glasses like this, and the other one of you wears glasses like this. The maximum
Why?
That's so specific of
those
you.
Why?
the maximum occupancy of your unit is one person. The fact that there are two is causing an issue. As a concerned neighbor, well versed in apartment occupancy laws, you need to get rid of one of you. And he like, okay, so I slip it in on a Saturday. He like typically never texts me first, but that Saturday he did. But it was like just Wordle and connection scores, which we do sometimes. And like that's the only conversation is just sending the scores. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Sunday, same thing. I was like, all right, whatever. Monday's orientation for con. And at one point he wants to see like my folder where I took notes with my handwriting. And he wanted to see it. And I was like very weird about it. I was like, no, don't look. But then he was like, why? You're being weird. And then I just gave it to him and then he looked at it because at this point I very much figured that he had not seen this. Eventually, what happens is he later that night goes home, reads my letter on his Instagram story, and then reads his response that he intends to tape up on his Instagram story. So I like swipe up on his story. I'm like, wow, you have like a really chatty neighbor. Do you know who it could be? And he's like, oh, no clue. And he was like, oh, to be clear, I didn't write these letters. Because sometimes he'll like do bits and jokes on his story.
Yeah.
Like, to be clear, I didn't write this letter. I think this is just a neighbor of mine. So I can tell that he's not suspecting me or anyone except a
So he
Okay.
didn't
neighbor.
make that connection at all.
It was not clicking for him.
So, but if he hears this and he still hasn't gotten it by then, uh-oh.
Oh, there's a full resolution to this, actually.
Okay.
I immediately write a response to him. And I'm like, okay, well, I play trivia in Logan Square on Tuesdays, which is the next day. So it's like, okay, I'll just like get to Logan Square a little bit earlier, slip it into his mailbox, head to trivia. As I am pulling up to his mailbox. I'm inspecting it for the letter that he allegedly taped on the mailbox. I didn't see a letter. But what I did see were the two people in the main unit of that building come outside and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I fully recognize I look suspicious, right? And he also did tell me that he texted his landlords about it. So recognizing these two facts, I was like, okay, maybe these are the landlords. I look at them and I go, oh, I know the person in your garden unit, and I was just in the neighborhood. I thought I'd leave a note to say hi. And they were like,
Just a note.
Just to say hi.
it's like I can't text him or something.
You're you're shipping a letter.
And yeah, these are the kind of manners I was raised with. 1890 manners. If I'm in the neighborhood, I say hi to everyone I know in the neighborhood.
You leave a
Um,
note.
so immediately they were like, he has been receiving notes. And at that point, I'm like, okay, so these people are like the landlords that are clearly in the know. So I look at them and I'm like, okay, yeah, you got me. I've been pranking him. I'm the one leaving notes in his mailbox. It is not like a jerk neighbor. It's not
Mhm.
anyone but a jerk friend, really. Like it's just I'm being a
Yeah,
jerk
Like you're a
because I
jerk
can be.
friend.
you're
Yeah.
being a
Yeah.
jerk. But Frank, what's
Um,
some bad advice we can give
bad
you?
advice. Okay. Like a broomstick, hit your ceiling with it, or you can like get something where you can put like a shoe in it. There's a little bit more surface area, and you just bang your ceiling. You have it by your bed in the
All the
morning
time?
or
Yeah.
in the evening. Make multiple, in different areas of the home. Yes, and just like
What's some other objects we can use other than a broom?
I would hope for a symbol. You know what I mean? Like a, but the ch is like you
ooh.
hitting your ceiling with
Oh,
it.
I have a trumpet.
Oh,
I mean, the only reason I've been playing my trumpet is because I want to get better at it, but now I feel like I'll have more motivation to practice.
a broomstick party.
Mm.
Yeah, hold a broomstick party
It's a hard knock life in
for
this
us. It's
apartment
our
life
rent
for
for
us,
us. Please keep it
you're
down. Jim, you're
up
loud.
there,
Please.
'cause you're so loud up there. Get some orphans. Get some orphans come over.
Very
Okay,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got nothing else to do.
Got nothing else to do. Start an orphanage for profit.
Adopt three babies at once and just go full mom mode
And then the babies are crying, the kids are
all
running
the time.
around.
All
You're
the
Sound to
time.
creating your
travel.
own
Yeah.
noise to one, piss them off, and for two, just to not hear their noise because you're hearing your own noise.
Manu, we need we need to give them more options. What's
Right.
something we can do?
When I think of a noisy upstairs neighbor, I think of someone that's a little bit inconsiderate,
Okay.
someone that needs to be, checked a little bit. Unfortunately for me, that means we need to unsettle them in their own home.
Okay.
So we need
Mhm.
to start understanding their noise patterns and start like figuring out when they might be leaving their apartment. You're gonna need to take a lock picking class. You're gonna need to pick their
Mhm.
A
lock.
lock
You're
picking
gonna need to,
class?
they're gonna
Like
need
full
to,
spy
A
mode.
class?
or what, a YouTube tutorial. I'm not sure how the lock picks are
No,
gaining their
I
A
I
bobby
the
pin,
local community center has senior lock picking classes every
learning
Wednesday night.
annex.
Yeah.
fantastic. Just enroll in that. The seniors aren't going to be nimble with their fingers either. It's going to take them forever to get the subject matter. You're probably going to get it in half the time they are,
Mhm.
maybe even a quarter. So, very quick lock picking class. Go upstairs, and you're going to shift everything they own to either 2 inches to the left or 2 inches to the right. You're going to alternate that kind of
Oh, okay.
behavior every week. They're going to come home, they're going to be like, I have no grasp of what's happening here
To
anymore.
make them go crazy.
They're going to lose a little bit of a
Gaslighting.
handle on reality. So I think that's going to subdue them a little bit. It's going to rein in that energy. It's going to make them think if someone is fucking with me like this, how am I fucking with other people?
It makes them introspective and
Yes.
mindful of their own behaviors.
It's like an aggressive form of therapy
It
that is like kind
is.
of ghost related because I will think that they're going to assume ghosts.
You make your client
Become a ghost.
crazy
Yeah.
to make them feel better.
Frank, you did bring up a good point. Like, I don't know what reverse psychology is, but I do think it's this.
Do something that really shakes them.
Yeah.
Kind of
So if
like
we make them
resets that.
crazy in a new way, that's gonna make them less crazy in their regular way.
Maybe they move. Maybe
Also,
they move.
that
Yeah.
it didn't even
Mm.
They
occur to me.
and you know what? Since the apartment is now haunted, it's going for cheaper.
Ideally, just
You
take that
can
space too.
just take
Yeah,
that
that could be
space
your
too.
closet, or that could be your workout studio. So it's, if anything, you're the one making that noise.
After you get that one, next one.
Keep going.
Next
Keep
one,
going.
just keep going until
Invest.
you start to get like a real estate empire of horribly haunted places. You can do it with your other one. You died.
Wait, so you die.
And you're haunting for real. You're a poltergeist. It does solve the noise problem. You're
I
not hearing
mean,
the noise anymore because you're not
It
hearing anything anymore.
you're not hearing anything anymore.
it can solve some problems.
Ugh.
That almost feels like the too obvious answer for all of these.
I mean, that's the pure logic like answer, like the pure logic answer. That's not really an answer.
Yeah, that's not any of our titles. We're just good, bad, and ugly. We're not pure logic.
Everybody needs different outlets. And sometimes they're going to be ugly, sometimes they're going to be good, sometimes they're going to be bad. Thank my guests so much, Frank and Manu, so
Of
incredibly much.
course.
It
Thank
means a
you
lot
for
to me.
having me in.
Where can people find you guys?
Usually in my apartment by myself with my cat.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you meant social media wise, Frank.
Oh, social media wise, I had no idea.
Oh,
Well,
did you?
This
Oh,
is,
was that a real answer? Like you wanted to be coy about
I
it?
mean,
you're
no,
just
that
like,
is
this is my
that,
apartment.
I'm always here with my cat. Instagram at FChristianF, I believe. I also have another Instagram channel where I do, give some sort of advice. That's Psychothera Flow, because fortunately
Bars.
I am a psychotherapist. I try not to say
Yeah,
that.
I kind of mistaked the veil here. Frank is a legitimate therapist.
Yes. At FChristianF or at PsychotherapFlow. Those are the main channels that I'm on, or Frank Floski for Facebook.
It's got one Instagram. It's Manu Padma. You'll figure out how to spell it because I'm sure my name will be listed somewhere.
Thank you two so much for coming on to the first episode. And thank you to the listener at home. I'm saying listener because it's probably only going to be me listening to this. I'm not expecting anybody, but if there happens to be somebody, thank you so much for for giving me your time of day. This is a labor of love. I've put a lot of effort and time and care into this, and for you to say we'll give this a chance really means a lot. If you are interested in submitting a question to our podcast, you can email us at the results will vary at gmail.com, all one word. If you're looking to follow us on socials, on Instagram, we are at the results will vary, all one word again. This show releases every 2 weeks, so the next time we will be seeing you is on January 15th. Again, thank you so much for coming in. Now that that's out of the way, just a reminder to not actually use any of this advice. Even the good advice, take it with a Mediterranean grain of salt. But if you do, just remember that the results will vary. Bye. Goodbye. Bye.